Hi, my name is Jeremy Christey. I'm a psychologist and a psychotherapist, and I'm just here to talk about sleep. Give me 5 minutes, says 10, 5 minutes. Let me talk about the fundamentals of sleep. I'm qualified to do this because I've been treating people with sleep problems for probably 15 years. I've been trained by the best professors in the world, and including the Oxford University's sleep specialist department with some superb teachers. So I want to just talk to you about sleep. We obviously know why it's important, but I'll talk to you about how it works and how to kind of get the best of it. So, sleep. Let me give you some fundamentals first. You can't survive with sleep longer than you can survive without water. Sleep is correcting as a homeostatic process, and it does kind of return back. Often we get caught up doing things, or with certain sleep disorders where it actually becomes difficult to sleep and it becomes more effortful to sleep. So I'll talk more about that as we go on. And the other thing is that you can't really survive without sleep. It's kind of hard to think, oh, we can do it, I can do it, I only need 5 hours and I'm tired. And I hear a lot about people being tired and actually kind of regarding it as a slightly heroic thing. We can't survive without sleep. You can't make up sleep. If you have disrupted sleep, it doesn't really kind of return. If you've got smart watches or rings like this giving you data on your sleep, then actually using them can screw up your sleep, and I'll talk more about that. And I'll talk a bit about the science of sleep. So let me first of all go for kind of how sleep works. Right, there are two processes that drive sleep. Pen, whiteboard. There's two processes that drive sleep. One of them, these are really obvious, right, but bear with me. One of them is that the longer we're awake, the more tired we are and the more likely we are to sleep. So if that's a graph, if that's time, that's tiredness. The longer we're awake, the more likely we are to sleep. So eventually you get to a point where actually you will sleep. So there's a pressure to sleep. There's a sleep debt. It's carried through the day. Bizarrely, we manage to stay awake during the day. We don't quite know why. It seems evolutionarily quite a useful thing. We don't really know why we need sleep. So let's think about it in terms of somehow our body doesn't fall asleep all the way through the day, and we manage to stay awake, but as a price of staying awake, we need to recover from that. And sleep, it seems, is a very, very important part of the recovery process. If you're going to the gym, if you're recovering from work, if you're recovering from tiredness, if you've been working hard, we need sleep to recover. Now, we also need sleep because of the biology of getting rid of plaques and toxins in the brain, and they're flushed out at night. So it's crucial for Parkinson's prevention, dementia, and the natural recovery of the brain, because the brain is flushed out at night. All of this stuff is rinsed out. Not all the way through the night, and I'll talk more about that in a moment. But essentially, the important thing is that as we get more, as we're awake longer, we're building up sleep debt and sleep pressure. There's a pressure to swing back and then start sleeping again. So eventually we will start sleeping, and there's a kind of natural rhythm. Our body goes up and down. You'll heard the circadian rhythm around a day. We've got a timer that works in the body, and our natural rhythm runs at about an hour and a half. So we kind of feel slightly more awake, slightly more tired every hour and a half or so through the day. And also, some people will be more awake in the evening. Some people will be more awake in the morning. You'll get evening types, owls and larks. So there's a natural pressure. As we tend to get older, we tend to be more awake in the morning. And young people, particularly under the age of 25, 21, are more awake at 10 p.m. than they are at 8 p.m. So we've got a huge amount of data to show how tiredness works, how tiredness builds up, and how the circadian clock works. All of our cells in our body have a timer. They all have an independent timer, and all of the cells in the body, including the different organs, are on a slightly different time. And the cells are kept in time, like a conductor would keep an orchestra in time, by one particular nucleus in the brain. And this is triggered and managed by light. So light in the back of the eye and this is a problem for blind people, light in the back of the eye gets the timer going and then keeps all the cells in time. So when the cells are in time, we're feeling good. When they're out of time, that we start feeling funky. So using daylight is one of the things that we do in sleep management. So back to the science of sleep. So more time, more tired, and then it's reset when you go to sleep, and then it starts again the following day. So if you go to bed too early, then there isn't enough pressure. The diving board isn't high enough, and there's not enough pressure to kind of sleep. So you go to bed too early, it doesn't help. If you have a snooze for more than about half an hour, certainly for more than an hour and a half, what happens if you snooze more than half an hour? So we say if you're going to nap in the day, don't do it more than 20 minutes. But what happens is that the timer resets. So if you snooze too long in the day, your timer resets and you get out of sync. So that's one of the rules of sleep, is that we don't want people sleeping or napping more than 20 minutes or so in the day. Okay, so back to timing. So longer the time, more tired we are, bigger the diving board, and the deeper we go into sleep. Now let's just talk about sleep depth. 1 second, just wipe this off. Back to sleep depth. If you've got smart watches and smart apps, you'll see these kind of profiles. This is a typical sleep profile of someone who's perhaps regular sort of adult age. It doesn't have to just be like this. So we have different sleep depths. We're not just asleep all in one go. Sometimes we're in a deeper sleep, and sometimes we're in a lighter sleep. Sometimes we're awake at night, and sometimes we're in REM sleep, which is very close to being awake. And deeper sleep, maybe stage 3, stage 2, stage 3, stage 2. We're going in and out of different depths of sleep. Now, when we're in our deepest sleep, that's when all the helpful flushing out actually occurs. So our brain is going to repair mode. And evolutionary biology is very helpful because it puts our deeper sleep at the beginning of the night. So if our sleep is shortened, then what we lose out on is that part of the sleep. But we still get the deeper sleep here, which is really useful. The only thing is that if we have shorter sleep, we're obviously tired in the day, but if we have shorter sleep, we can feel more anxious, and REM period is when our anxiety is managed. So we can wake up tired and anxious. But we get the deeper sleep where a lot of the amyloids and plaques and proteins get washed out of the brain, which is really helpful. So what sends us into a deeper sleep is higher on the diving board. So the more tired we are, boom, the deeper the sleep we go. If we haven't got enough sleep pressure, if we're not tired enough, then we don't go into this kind of heavy, deep sleep. Right, that's the end of the science. Just so we know what we're kind of talking about. Right, okay, so what I'm going to cover is I'm going to just talk about some rules of sleep. Now, you'll have heard sleep hygiene. This is just the do's and don'ts of sleep, and you can look that up. But some of the useful things to know about sleep hygiene are things like your body is at its coldest at 4 in the morning. And this is so when you're tired, you end up cold. If you're in the UK and you go to the States, then apart from New York being very cold, actually if you're out of sync and you're jet lagged, you will feel cold. So that's really, really important that your body's coldest at 4 in the morning. Now, why is this important? Because actually if you're too hot at that time of day, you'll wake up. So sometimes you can be waking up because of the environment. If you take caffeine, chocolate, any sort of stimulants, as the afternoon goes on, certainly close to bedtime, then it's going to affect your REM sleep. So having any chocolate will stuff up your REM sleep. So your sleep can be curtailed halfway through because you're actually having stimulants. So your behavior before bedtime can actually dictate how well you actually sleep. So we're starting to get some of the rules of sleeping from things like sleep hygiene. We get some of the environmental things from sleep hygiene, and we know, I'll show you how it actually affects it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you another video which covers the actual rules of sleep, and then what to do about it. If you want more help, if you don't watch the other video, then probably one of the most useful digital helps for sleep is something called Sleepio. Sleep.io, but it's called Sleepio, and Sleepio is the only National Health Service, UK National Health Service digital approved app. It's got massive amount of evidence. It's written by the best professors in the world, and it's a fantastic start. You can pay for it if you want to pay for it yourself for a period, and it will run through your sleep treatment and use the best approaches to sleep treatment. So you want to look up Sleepio. If you're in London, if you're in the London area, you get it for free. So go on the Sleepio website and then register, and you get free sleep treatment.